Ian here from the Sports Card Side Hustle. I wanted to cover with you today the top 5 players I would pick up and accumulate leading up to the World Cup stretch. Am I a little late? Maybe. Like, I'm getting this out there on the opening day, or I'm making this video on the opening day of the World Cup. But I think the World Cup being a month long, it does give you a while to keep accumulating some, get in for grading quick, and have ready or for your collection later from those players that are going to benefit from the World Cup. So the first one that I have is Messi, because I think he's going to go far and deep, and I'm actually picking Argentina to win this World Cup. Remember that a lot of these sports and the way that the cards perform do come down to team performance. They can be a top player, but if they go out early, they lose all those later games. Just like the NBA, when a player's not in the playoffs, or in NFL, when a player's not in the playoffs, they'll get some hype because they're great performances, but then their card and card prices will drop off if their team didn't go far. Argentina has a 35-game unbeaten streak. Messi is playing, does seem to be near peak form, doing well with PSG, that whole club doing well, with their top 3 doing well. And I think that he's going to be a one to watch for this World Cup. So here's Messi. I'm showing you some of his top players. They have Color Wheel is a huge card to get after. You're not going to find any graded yet because this is so new in the new set. Look at the Raw breaking 2,000. That's a good card to get if you could find a good deal on a Raw. I always do like the subsets. Here's if you go back to his rookie, that Mega Cracks 2004 Panini Mega Cracks is a big card. And he has a lot of famous cards. Also the Mega Cracks with this version here. If you keep going, you'll find just a lot of choices for Messi. So go for the lower numbers. The serialized like this is on the horizon. They hit 5,000 for the last sale of a 10, and that's been almost a year. There's not many of those. Maybe autos, serialized and numbered. I'll give you an example of one that I love that I picked up. I'm just going to go ahead and scan it with the Market Movers X app. But if you, this is his 2018 Panini Kaboom. You can see I have a PSA 9. I picked it up a few months ago, and I've been holding it at least till the World Cup. But when you go look at the population data on these Kabooms, there's not many high grades or 10s. The last 10 sold for over 4,000 on this same card. So mine graded a 9. I was happy with that. So that's Lionel Messi. Go check out his cards. Moving on to Kylian Mbappe is who I have for the second player to watch. So I do like to use the Sports Card Investor app. When you check out Mbappe here, you're going to find his history is much shorter, much shorter. Last World Cup is where he really broke out to be famous. But this is his key card right here, our primary card that a lot of people think of from the 2018 Prism World Cup, and that base number 80. But when you go for it, go find those colored prisms and look at the centering. Look for the centering when you look at it raw. It makes a huge difference on those prisms. You'll see different border widths. And sorry, I was trying to get you over to the colored prisms, but go after those colored numbers, but also Kabooms. I do love the Kabooms. Look for those. This is his more recent Kaboom. The Raws still under 1,000. You could get $700 to $1,000 range. Then you're risking it already losing money on a 9 because the Raws have had some demand. Move over maybe if you want to spend a lot of money. There's a 2018, the same year as the Messi I just showed you. PSA 10s have crossed 8,000 in recent months. Had sales over 8,000, but the Raw is only you can grab it for under 2,000 if you find it at the right time and deal. So keep that in mind, right? Because the 9 still seems to exceed 3,000. Now it is a bit of an older, being 4 years, so it might be harder to find that they stayed in the 9 and 10 condition if they haven't upgraded yet. Okay, so Cristiano Ronaldo, I would go to next. He's always been him and Messi battling for World Player of the Year, and who's going to get more of those over and over, the Ballon d'Or, etc. If you go look at his cards, he's got almost all the same years as Messi, and then those same subsets. He's really had kind of a downturn in his club career with his battle and controversies and disagreements with Manchester United right now. So look for him, if he wants to preserve and elevate his legacy, to just go all out in this World Cup. He was going to anyways, but he's got so much motivation to perform well. And just look at all the choices. Again, look for those lower number serialized print cards. Cristiano Ronaldo would be a great guy to be picking up if you think he's going to take Portugal past the quarterfinals. If he can get to the Final Four or final, that's going to be huge for his legacy and if he's a top performer. So I will reiterate, I think that's going to be Messi, that he's going to go to the final and probably lead the World Cup in scoring, but we will see. So, who do I have fourth? Vinicius Jr., because he's a young star. He's had so much hype, but then kind of faded, and now the World Cup brings back that chance. So if you go to Vinicius Jr. cards, sorry, let me get him up here. You're going to see the date range on those only back a couple years because of his youth. The new Downtown is a big card that you can buy for him, where I imagine that 10s are going to get 2,000 to 3,000 plus and 9s exceeding this price. You don't see any graded yet because of it being a newer card, but that I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said Downtown, National Landmarks, but the raws are under 1,000. So if you're willing to put some money in and go for the 9 or 10, that's a big card to get for him, Vinicius Jr. Maybe focus on that card. As we look at the rest of the list, I would say go after any of those. If you believe in the U.S. men's national team, especially if they open with a great game against Wales, you see my list here. Go for any of those U.S. men's national team stars that are going to get global notice on the TV in the World Cup and in America. A lot of Americans don't watch Premier League and Serie A in Italy and the Bundesliga in Germany. But Pulisic, McKennie, Reina, Weah, Tyler Adams, and Eriksen, they're all either starting or getting huge minutes or making an impact on those top European clubs. But they're also either starters or playing huge minutes for us all the time. So I'll show you like a few cards, that I picked up based on who I think might have big impact for the U.S. And here's a Pulisic. I have a 10-10 auto here. And actually, I do have trouble finding these, but because of the scarcity and that there's only a few autographed. But I do try to check these. I will be tracking them. So you can see this one's a Panini Immaculate Collection from 2018. The two best players ever in my mind for the U.S. men's national team to this point. But I'm taking a capture for them here so you can see them, even though the data's not there. The first one was a 2021 Mosaic Premier League Christian Pulisic, and that one did get a 10-10. Here's another Pulisic. I also have some Weahs and Reina. So you see that one doesn't come up. It looks for other cards that are similar. But so that shows you the scarcity of those. So back to the list. Go for any of those guys once you see how they perform in that first game of the World Cup. If we show up and we look like we're not well coached, we're out of sorts, and we get beat down by Wales, then I would not invest much in those 5. So that's kind of my dark horse. And after that, I'd go with honorable mention also of Bukayo Saka, who I do have a lot of as well, just because he's such a young guy, and he's gonna have a chance to make a big impact in the World Cup as well. So, all right, so those are my picks leading up to the World Cup of the guys to focus on. Messi and Mbappe, a couple teammates at PSG, they're also doing well for PSG and in the Premier League. They're gonna break out in the World Cup. France and Argentina are gonna go far. Argentina is my pick to win it. Cristiano Ronaldo, who struggled lately for club team with Manchester United and him having their dispute. He has everything to play for in this World Cup and his legacy. Then Vinicius Jr., as Brazil always performs well, and now he has a chance for everyone to see him on the world stage again. And then those starters for the U.S. men's national team are guys who are playing a lot of minutes that are also playing on big clubs in Europe and have a chance to be in Champions League, etc. Pulisic, McKennie, Reyna and Weah, Tyler Adams and Aronson, not as much as far as Champions League, but their club does make it. It is doing better with Leeds, doing better and getting more competitive in the Premier League and having all those Americans on the team. So thanks for listening. Those are my picks of the 5 players to watch and accumulate for the World Cup stretch. Have a good week, and everybody enjoy the World Cup. Today's the opener. Tomorrow's the U.S. men's national team. Big opener against Wales. Go ahead and like and subscribe. Give content, suggestions, recommendations. Appreciate you watching.